everybody, and welcome to Oakland, California, on the shores of beautiful San Francisco Bay. You know Oakland. This is the town that Al Davis put on the map when he brought the Raiders here. He also took them away. And what little kid doesn't look up to Jose Canseco of the Oakland A's? You know, Oakland is the home of the Earthquake World Series. The ground is going to be rumbling tonight as the U.S. Hot Rod Association rumbles into town. I'm Ken Brew. Welcome to Monster Truck Challenge, the most exciting half hour of motorsports on television today. All right, let's set the stage for you right now. Gravedigger, Lyle Hancock at the wheel, had some mechanical problems, was a doubtful starter. So what did Lyle do? He blew away the field in qualifying with a time of 2.46 seconds. It's never say die for the Gravedigger 4x4 team out of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. So based on the qualifying times, here's what the first round looks like. Taurus takes on Equalizer, two scorching hot trucks in that round. Barefoot faces Carolina Crusher in one of the oldest rivalries in monster truck racing. And Bigfoot tries to bury Gravedigger. Hey, let's go racing. Here's Joe Lowe.
The crowd in Oakland is ready. The trucks are ready. And David Morris out of Springfield, Tennessee, and the Equalizer, no stranger to monster truck racing fans, is going up against the world champion, Jackie Willman, and the Taurus monster truck in the far lane, the Equalizer in the near lane. Jackie and his dad teaming up to have one of the most powerful racing teams in monster truck racing today. Taurus catches the Equalizer napping. The world champion is off and moving before Equalizer even saw the light. And that little bit of a nap cost David Morris a win in round number one as the world champ goes to our semifinal action. Our next matchup between Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher and Fred Schaefer's Barefoot. The Barefoot monster truck struggling early in the season in our monster truck challenge, and Fred Schaefer is a guy that's a perfectionist. Out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois, Freddie knows this track. He's been studying it all afternoon. Gary Porter, the lone wolf, travels by himself on the circuit. He knows it's do or die against the Barefoot monster truck. There's a good picture of the single Gary Porter. We're ready to go. And Fred Schaefer with a good hole shot. Almost puts it up on its end. He powers out, thumbs up to the crowd, and Fred Schaefer picks up a win. Now look, the front tires were a little bit out of shape as he came over that first set of cars. But he straightens out in the air, and boom, power out. Fred, you're gonna go over if you're not too careful. In monster truck driving, that's exactly what you have to do. You don't hit the brakes, you have to power out of it. Here's a matchup, Bigfoot and Gravedigger. Now remember, Dennis Anderson has not been driving Gravedigger early this season. It's been Lyle Hancock. Lyle taking over those Gravedigger duties, and boy, does he have one to handle. Andy Brass up in the Bigfoot monster truck. This is our first look at Bigfoot 10, the brand new truck out of St. Louis, Missouri, and Andy Brass is a veteran. This guy knows what it's all about. He's been a world champion before. He'd love to have it again in 1992. They power up. And Bigfoot smokes the Gravedigger in round number one. The Bigfoot monster truck, Bigfoot number 10, more awesome than any truck heretofore. He comes over beautifully, beautifully staged, hits that first set of cars, and boom, Andy Brass in the big blue Ford goes to semifinal action in Oakland, California. Ken Brew, that's round number one.
Okay, so Bigfoot wins the bragging rights here in Oakland. He sends the Gravedigger packing. Barefoot continues on, a winner in his own right. And guess who did it again? An Equalizer. David Morris. He was the fast loser in round one. Now, we've already seen him do this once before, be the fast loser in round one and continue on through the championship. We'll see if he can do it again when Monster Truck Challenge continues in just a moment. What's your favorite?
He used to be the champion.
Well, he used to be the champion, right? How do you like the way he gets up in the air and comes down on those cars?
I like it. I want to drive one of those cars.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Oakland, California. I'm Ken Brew, along with Joe Lowe and Dan Danner, and this is Monster Truck Challenge on ESPN. The racers are ready for round 2. It's going to be Taurus and Bigfoot, and then Barefoot and Equalizer, and let's go trackside for all the action with Joe Lowe.
This crowd is seeing some excitement. They have something to cheer about right now. Taurus and Bigfoot, a Chevy Ford matchup. Dan Danner of Monster Truck Challenge had the opportunity to speak with Jackie Willman of Taurus about his upcoming race.
It's going to be a tough match when you come up against your next opponent.
Yeah, I believe I got Bigfoot in the next round, and like I say, it's hard to get traction in there. It's a short track, and it's going to be whoever can get off the line the best.
Well, I'll tell you what, being a 91 champion with that experience, has it helped so far this year?
Well, experience has a little bit to do with it, but you're talking, you know, Bigfoot's my competitor, Andy Brass, a tough driver, and he's got probably as much experience if I do, if not more, and it's going to be a tough race.
So it's a big Chevrolet against the big Ford in that round 2.
Yeah, it seems to be a rivalry, Ford and Chevrolet, and I'm just going to see if I can put Chevy on top.
We heard what Taurus had to say. Now let's check with Andy Brass of the Bigfoot Ford.
Well, Andy Brass, you made it through the first round into that second round. What condition is that track in?
Well, the tracks, 2 lanes are a lot different each other. We're looking at the cars there earlier. We got a real hard car in the right lane and a softer car in the left. So the car in the left lane's been going down. They've been throwing the guys quite as high in the air, and it looks like the left lane tonight's going to be the better lane. Like I said, because of that, the guy's not getting as much air. They're staying a little lower. Otherwise, it's shooting you up in the air, and you're just going up instead of across the cars.
So there's a lot more to it than just coming up off that front ramp and launching that truck. Those cars underneath play an important part, right?
Yeah, they do. Like I say, you know, the left lane going to keep the guys down a little bit. It's going to launch them out instead of up. And then the race is so short and so close that if a guy's going up in the air, he's not making much progress going forward. And most of the races here today or tonight's going to be within inches of each other. They're going to be photo finishes, and a lot of it's just going to be playing on who gets what lane.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've drawn a tough customer in this second round up against the 91 champion. Experience, how much does it play in this? He's a 91 champion. You've got just a ton of experience under you. Does that play a big role?
Yeah, it does. The experience does. I myself have been running out here for a long time, but I've been on the outdoor tracks, the long tracks, where Taurus has been running, Jackie with Taurus has been running all the indoor tracks. He's used to this short of a track. He's got his truck pretty well geared into it and everything, and I've been having a little bit of problems here trying to get the truck dialed to the course because, like I say, I'm so used to running an outdoor long track.
So Andy Brass admittedly given a little bit to Jackie Willman. Can he overcome it? We're just about to find out as they're staged and ready to go. Jackie Willman catching Andy Brass napping in the Bigfoot monster truck, and the 1991 world champion Taurus picks up the win in Oakland. He's going to the finals. Let's view it one more time. This is how to drive a monster truck. Jackie Willman off the line, does not hesitate one bit as he hits those cars, flies over, gives it everything he's got, and goes across the finish line. Taurus, a little bobble at the end. He's already won it. He knows he's going to the championships here in Oakland. Meanwhile, Andy Brass had a little problem on the start. Look, the tires came off just a little bit. They were out of shape. He flew up instead of going straight down. And hey, he hits it about a half second behind Taurus. It's going to be back on the trailer for Bigfoot into the championship round for Taurus here in Oakland. Who's going to go against him? Is it going to be Barefoot or Equalizer? Now, Barefoot was the 1990 world champion. He knows he's trying to fight back in 92. Dan Danner caught up with Fred in the pits just moments ago, right before this run.
Well, Fred Schaefer made it through that first round okay. In fact, your truck seems to wind up with the least amount of damage, it looks like, through most of these rounds. What's your secret?
I don't know, it disappears like that. It seems like it gets quite a bit itself, but it's a short track in there, and it's real close racing in there, just a matter of feet. It's going to be a real interesting race.
David Morris was working on the Equalizer when Dan Danner caught up with him.
This track, according to some of the drivers, is a little bit hectic. It's very short, and the traction's not always there, right?
Right. The critical point in this course is the stopping area. We're a little bit out of shape when we come off the cars, and we really haven't got a whole lot of room to straighten out and get stopped, but we're doing the best we can.
Well, what kind of problems does that create for a driver when there is such a short stopping distance?
Well, the way this course is, when you come off the cars, you tend to back in to come up on it, and you got to be driving to get it pulled back down, but you also got to be stopping to get stopped. So it's pretty hard.
So you got to worry about starting, you got to worry about stopping, and you got to worry about winning. And that's exactly what both these drivers are doing right now. Oh, look at the wind goes to Barefoot, but Fred Schaefer almost pulled it over. You know, David Morris warned us about stopping. Maybe he should have gone over and talked to Fred Schaefer about it, because the Barefoot truck is in great shape here. He comes up, goes over the cars. He's given it so much power. He's got so much force behind him that when he gets to the end of this short track, it's like, uh-oh, am I gonna go or am I gonna stay? And some big force comes from behind and helps this guy out. It's like a big giant hand comes out of the track and pulls Barefoot back down. We saved it. We saved it, Freddie. You're going to the final. You're gonna face Bigfoot. This was not a bad run at all for the equalizer. David Morris well in control. Hey, he just didn't have enough to beat the Barefoot monster truck today. So it's back on the trailer where equalizer Barefoot faces Bigfoot in the final.
Jackie Wellman and Fred Schaefer, what a rivalry in monster truck racing. These guys have been going back and forth on the track, off the track for many, many years. When we come back, we're going to go visit Dennis Anderson to get his thoughts on that rivalry and monster truck racing in general. Sitting by in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, is Dennis Anderson with a broken knee. We visited with Dennis to talk to him about America's sport, monster truck racing.
The competitive part of it is what drives you to step out on that limb and say, well, we've got to do another truck, or I've got to make these changes. I love talking to the competitors, and I really kind of psych them in a playing sense, you know, because I'll make little comments to them about, well, I'm going to swell my truck up until I hear fiberglass crack, and I'm going to turn it loose, or I can see the light, I can see the electricity running through the cord before the light comes on, so I'm going to kill them on the light, you know, and I just like psyching them up, because to me, I think it really works sometimes, you know. Bigfoot at one time there, I mean, Bigfoot always won. He was, you know, whatever, you flip TV on, Bigfoot won this, Bigfoot won that, and that's all you heard was Bigfoot, you know. Well, that made me want to get him so bad. Bob's got some real good trucks, and I mean, they're still competitive, and they can win at the drop of the hat anytime right now, but these guys, we've caught up with him now. Fred Schaefer, you know, Fred Schaefer, he's an old timer at it. Fred's always going around tightening nuts and bolts, and he's like a nervous old critter just going all around this truck, you know, and I pick on Fred Schaefer every once in a while and tell him, you know, well, you old man, you better watch it at the light there, because this old young boy is going to get you. Jackie Willman, he's a competitor to me. He's sort of like me. I mean, he doesn't like to lose, in which nobody out there likes to lose, but when he loses, man, it'll get underneath of his skin. And he doesn't show it a lot, but me and Jackie behind the scenes would pick on each other, and I can tell it gets under his skin, and it's like ribbing somebody, you know, and I love to beat Jackie Willman and just he makes his little lip drop out, you know, but he's he just hates to lose, man, and I'm the same way, and that's why I like Jackie so much. I mean, Jackie is a true racer out there. I mean, he is, you know, blood and guts. It gets my adrenaline flowing. I love power. I love something big and bad, and I just love doing it.
All right, after these words from our sponsors, we'll see who wins. Back in Oakland, California, where Jackie Willman and Fred Schaefer are about to go head-to-head. I'm betting on a close race because neither one of these guys likes to lose. Let's go trackside for all the action.
You know, for the most part, they're neighbors, Barefoot and Taurus. They live 30 miles apart from one another. And Fred Schaefer ran against the big Willman, Big Jack Willman, years ago in other than monster truck racing. They've been racing cars together for 20 or 30 years now. And here's the way it came down. Taurus and Barefoot, as Taurus defeated Bigfoot and Barefoot beat Equalizer. So that's how they got here. And here is Barefoot, Fred Schaefer, and the incredible Barefoot out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois. We had an opportunity to speak with Fred right before this championship race.
Fred Schaefer, you've made it into that final round, and buddy, you've got somebody to go against, don't you?
Yeah, I do. He's a tough competitor, and I think it's going to be a real close race.
Well, let me ask you right now, is there any truth to the fact that there's a little bit of bad blood between you two?
Most of it's rumor. We used to be on the same team. They used to be on my team, Jack Willman did, and it's mostly rumor.
Well, I'll tell you what, two big Chevrolets are going to go at it out there. Which Chevrolet do you think is going to take it?
I think it probably won't be a foot. It's probably going to be a photo finish or a view video. I think it's going to be real close. Our times are almost identical today.
Now, they say that one lane, the left lane, has got a little more traction. Do you find that to be a fact?
Yeah, and I had a faster time than he did in qualifying, so I'll get that lane.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a heck of a shootout between the Barefoot and the big Taurus Chevrolet. Good luck to you, Fred.
Thank you very much.
And following in his dad's footsteps, here's Jackie Willman, the 1991 world champion, and Taurus.
Well, tell me about the traction in your lane. You've been in both lanes now today. Which one do you think's the best?
Well, the left lane is definitely the best. The cars are mashed down more. You're not getting as much air, but Barefoot has lane choice, so more than likely he's going to put me over in the other lane.
So here we are, the crowd on their feet in Oakland. Side-by-side monster truck racing action. This is our championship. Barefoot and Taurus, they're staged. We're ready to go in Oakland. Incredibly close. But Jackie Willman seems to get the whole shot. He stays down lower than Barefoot. And right here, a full tire length lead. The win goes to Jackie Willman, the 91 world champion, and Taurus. Again, impeccable driving style. This guy has got control of this truck. It's just incredible as he dances over the finish line into the winner's circle. Jackie Willman, your winner. Meanwhile, Fred Schaefer, look, the tires were turned a little bit. He approached the cars out of shape, went too high. He's going to have to settle for number 2, but with this field of competitors, number 2's not half bad.